So I just got back from the Cosmic Summit, and without a doubt, the most spectacular thing that was presented in all 3 days was Danny Hillman. Just this morning, Danny Hillman, the archaeologist who's famous for presenting his data on Gunung Padang, the pyramid in Indonesia that Danny has demonstrated the oldest layers date to 20,000 BC, which is still highly controversial. Of course, all the mainstream academics and archaeologists kind of dispute this, but the data that Danny presented, which is peer-reviewed, dates the oldest layers of Gunung Padang to 20,000 BC. So just this morning, Danny Hillman presented his latest research, tracking down the remnants of civilization on the Sunda Shelf. And for those of you who don't know, the Sunda Shelf is the shallows that contain Indonesia and Malaysia and some of the islands of Thailand. All of this land that's in blue here was exposed during the last ice age. It was above water. And many people theorize that there could be remnants of lost civilizations or a lost civilization on the Sunda Shelf. This shallow shelf would have been an ideal place to live during the last ice age. During the last ice age, or during the last glacial maximum, the ice sheets extended farther south and north into the continents than they do today. And the amount of habitable area on Earth was much less. And so Sundaland, as the ancient, now submerged continent is called, that would have encompassed Indonesia and Malaysia and Thailand, Sundaland would have been an ideal place to live in the last ice age, during the time of the Younger Dryas. Now, the incredible thing that Danny released today, he shared artifacts that he and his team have recovered from the Java Sea, from the layers of shallows that would have been above sea level 10,000 years ago. He believes these artifacts are 10,000 years old or older, and I've never seen anything like it. I've seen a lot of artifacts in my day. These artifacts are made of iron and meteorite, but they look like petrified wood. Look at this. Look at what we're looking at. We have 3 artifacts that he displayed, and I was lucky enough to get to hold them. The audience was able to view them and hold them. And let me tell you, they are heavy. They feel like you're holding iron. And even though they look like petrified wood, I had to go back a second time to handle them, because looking at my photos, I said, I didn't want to touch them at first, even though you were allowed to. I didn't even feel it appropriate to touch them. But then as I was reviewing my photos and I looked at the photos that I had and it looked more like petrified wood, I had to hold them just to confirm that these artifacts were not made out of wood. And they are not. They are made out of definitely at least iron, but Danny said iron and meteorite, recovered from levels in the Java Sea that would have been exposed 10,000 years ago at the last glacial maximum during the Younger Dryas. Now, these artifacts are incredible. I have never seen artifacts like this in my entire life. You have a necklace with an enormous pendant in the bottom. It looks like a gao box, a Tibetan gao box. You can see there's 4 sides to it, and each side has a recessed cavity, and inside the cavity is a figure. But it's not just any figure. The figure inside this relic that Danny believes is 10,000 years old or older, recovered from the Java Sea, where a lost civilization is theorized to have existed, the figure inside of this artifact appears to be a naval idol. And you can imagine my shock when I noticed that. The idol inside the box does appear to be a naval idol. And as you know, I've spent years of my life documenting every naval idol I could find across the earth. I believe the naval idols are part of a package of culture that was disseminating around the globe intentionally. This package would have included symbols like the handbag, like the birdman. This package would have included agricultural techniques. In some cases, domesticated varieties of seeds and animals, of barley, of wheat, cattle, goat, sheep, pigs. These types of things were spreading throughout Europe and throughout Asia, and I believe symbols were spreading with it, and also metallurgy. Anyway, it was incredible to see a naval idol in this gao box. It's incredibly ancient, it's weathered away, but it does appear that this figure, that its arms and hands are meeting around its navel. The next artifact is a bracelet. At least it appears to be a bracelet, but it is a serpent eating its own tail. Visually, that's the imagery it invokes. Even though the tail is not going into the mouth, it's going behind the mouth. But if you look at it from the side, it looks like the serpent is eating its own tail. And if that was the intended symbolism, that would mean that the symbol of Ouroboros, which is found in many places throughout the ancient world, dates back to at least as far back as 10,000 BC or so in Sunda land. And finally, we have what looks like a ring, but it's much too large to be a ring, but it's also too small to slip your hand through it and wear it as a bracelet. So this artifact is indeed puzzling. You can see the texture of it. It looks like petrified wood. This artifact is made out of iron and supposedly also meteorite. It's heavy. It feels like you're holding a small iron kettlebell. What do you think? Is this a ring? Is this a bracelet? This is a very strange artifact indeed. So that's it. I just wanted to share with you the artifacts that Danny Hillman shared with the Cosmic Summit this morning. Literally this morning is the first time anyone has seen these artifacts, and I just wanted to share. That's so exciting. Artifacts, allegedly, we don't know for sure. He didn't present data with the artifacts, but he said he recovered them from the Java Sea, and they look like the most ancient artifacts I've ever seen. Just at a cursory glance, I've spent a lot of time looking at artifacts in museums. Spent 3 years of my life just going from museum to museum to museum looking at old things, and these look like the oldest artistic symbolic artifacts I've ever seen in my entire life. Which would make sense coming from but they look a lot older than anything you find at Göbekli Tepe as well, but also Göbekli Tepe was found buried. Whether deliberately or intentionally, Göbekli Tepe was buried, leading to an incredible state of preservation amongst the art and artifacts there. These artifacts have been sitting at the bottom of the Java Sea on the Sunda Shelf for who knows how long, but very possibly they could have been there for 10,000 years, dating to a civilization and a culture that has never been known. Could that culture and civilization be in some way responsible for Gunung Padang? Could that culture or civilization be in some way responsible for the megaliths of Sulawesi, Indonesia, which also have their hands meeting around their navel and their arms at their side? That's it. That's all I've got for now. I just wanted to share with you this really exciting discovery. I'm sure you're going to be hearing a lot more about these artifacts in the coming days, weeks, months, years, and they're probably working on recovering more artifacts. If there's a few, there's probably many more. So this is an incredibly exciting area of research. Just as a final note, Danny also presented scanning data of the ocean floor and revealed a complex network of what appears to be navigable canals also on the Sunda Shelf. So it's all very exciting. I hope you enjoyed viewing these artifacts, which could be from a 10,000-year-old civilization on the Sunda Shelf, about which we know nothing. The first time anyone has seen these artifacts.